Hey everybody, welcome back to another DeLorean Tech Bring a Trailer live stream. And today we've got a 1981 DMC-12. This is an automatic, currently sitting at 35,000. This was actually at 35,000 last night as well, so it has not moved since yesterday. So interesting thing about this car that I thought was it's actually being offered by that guy who actually did the twin turbo DeLorean with the wide body, and it was in SEMA. We'll take a look at his video here in a minute, but he's got a YouTube channel. I think he's also in trying to remember that other YouTube channel where the V8 swapped twin turbo DeLorean was sort of like showcased. They did like a bunch of build videos. I think it's I can't remember the name of the channel, but it's a pretty good channel, pretty cool. The car itself, I think it's sold. He sold it. At one point, it was like gold wrapped. So this is that guy, right? So if you've seen his channel and you've seen his videos, you know who I'm talking about. But he's the one who's offering this car up for sale. I guess he's got another YouTube channel. Let's take a look at that and see. It's Tim Mosseri. That's the guy. So he's the guy who offered up that wide body. So I'll take a look at his videos in a bit here. We're also going to get Chris Miles on the call as well. Let's see if he's awake. It's kind of early. So we will give Chris a call and find out if he is ready to join us on this live stream. Hey Chris, you're live on DeLorean Tech. How's it going?
Good. How's everything going?
It's going all right, man. Good morning.
Good morning.
So what do you think about this car, man? This 81 automatic.
I need to do my homework some more, but I think, is this the one that,
Tim Mosseri, he's offering it. Yeah, the guy, same guy did the wide body V8 twin turbo swapped DeLorean. I think it was an LS swap.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So I got to admit, it looks pretty good. He has a full-on video that, kind of showcases everything he did to it. It's a driving video. I took a look at all the photos. It looks pretty good. I didn't really notice anything that kind of stood out, except maybe the fact that it doesn't have a grooved hood. It's an 81. So I don't see any, reasoning behind that here. It could just be that, at some point in time, the original owner decided to swap out the the hood for whatever reason, or it could also mean it was in an accident, right?
Right. Sometimes owners swap hoods. There's different reasons, but maybe it had it damaged, at one point, and something fell on it, or and they decided to just swap it.
Yep, that's true. Some of the photos, the front frame extension looked pretty new compared to the rest of the frame. It's kind of hard to tell with the photos. Some of them are kind of dark. The undercarriage is pretty clean just in general. I thought it was fairly clean, no issues there. But it kind of begged the question, what's going on with the front end, right? But I don't know. Front frame extensions get replaced for a variety of different reasons. I think corrosion might be kind of like number one. Accident obviously is a possibility. But let me jump into the photo here. We still have 44 minutes left, and this car's been sitting at 35,000 basically since yesterday. I'm expecting it to go quite a bit higher here in the last few minutes, like this usually does. This is kind of why we do these live streams here in the last within the last hour of the auction ending. But I'm gonna point out what I was talking about with that front frame extension on this car here. Again, this is an automatic. The photos were here. Where are we? Let's see. Oh, it's probably right about here. So Yeah, so I'm pulling up a photo of the front frame extension. It almost looks like the paint color is a different, slightly different gray than the rest of the frame. You know, the full frame itself, the epoxy color is a little bit different. So I don't know. I mean, he's got a brand new steering rack in there, bunch of suspension. Yeah, you can see that. Changed out the calipers, full brake job on the car. Everything looks pretty good. It almost looks like he's got new suspension in there. That stuff's pretty clean. So it almost looks like he changed those out too, the coils and the shocks. So seems to run right. It's VIN 1864, early VIN 81.
So it should have a gas flap hood.
Does not have a gas flap hood, so it's got a flat hood on it. So it would have had the gas flap. It's got a metal. It looks like a stainless overflow bottle. So it's got some engine upgrades. He's changed out the fuel lines, all that good stuff, right? It looks like the fuel system has been completely gone through, as far as I can tell. Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's got new fuel lines and.
Yeah, does that look new? That's the return line. Does that look new to you? Doesn't match the rest of the others, but I guess it's not
the return line's original, I think.
Yeah, it looks original. So, but I mean, so they went with maybe the 9 hose kit as opposed to the 13. You got to do 13. Low side return line doesn't operate as high as the pressure. Your culprit's usually on this side of the engine compartment anyway. But you got your main fuel line, which I can't tell might also be original too. We could read the description to find out. Oh, there's some better perspective here. Kind of hard to say, but yeah, he's got. I don't know what he went with as far as probably went with DMC's hose kit, and they, as far as I remember, they for a time only offered the 9 hose kit for the fuel lines.
Yep.
But hey, better than having originals, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So the car's pretty clean. I mean, just the body itself looks pretty nice. I'm a big fan of the flat hood anyway. So I know. You've got a gas flap hood on your 83, so you went the other way.
I went the other way.
Yeah. What did you end up doing with your flat hood? Do you still have it?
No, I ended up selling it. It wasn't in perfect shape, so I was never gonna use it again. And I decided to just get rid of it. It was taking up space.
Yeah, and they're readily available anyway.
Yeah.
So this is a Florida car. The photos are pretty good. I don't know if that's peeling there on the fascia or not. Right around here. Whoops. Yeah, it looks like he painted it. But there were some other photos here that indicated maybe some peeling of the fascia, but it looks like there's some eyebrowing going on. It's kind of a little the opposite of what you normally see. These are kind of bowed inward. Usually you see them kind of bowed outward, but whatever.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Maybe they tried to fix it,
Maybe so, and then it went the other way.
Went the other way, yeah.
It also has a fender antenna, for those of you who don't like those.
Say it again?
It has a fender antenna.
Okay, yeah. Fender antennas, that was one of the earlier solutions, right? After, the windshield option wasn't working out, I guess.
Yeah, on picture 13, there's a big chunk of paint missing on the front fascia.
Yeah, I saw that, but then I saw some other... Oh, on 13?
Yeah, on picture 13. See if you can find that one.
Yeah, I'm on it right now. I did see one here on 12. You might be looking at the one where it's on the lift. Yeah, it looks like there is. But then if you look at the next photo, it looks like it's been fixed. So I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, the photos kind of vary. It looks like they were taken at different times, right? And not all at the same time, like one full photo shoot, which they really should be doing, right? You take the photos all on the same day, and those should be the latest photos. that are offered to to your audience here, prospective bidders. But anyway, so Tim Mosseri is the seller. He's the infamous wide-body SEMA twin-turbo V8 DeLorean that we all love, right? It went gold wrap, and then it went even crazier than that. And just kind of an exhibition car, right? I mean, nothing.
Right.
You can't really take it seriously. But hey, it's been done. I've seen. I think they have one in Japan too. That I think it even uses like a stainless wide-body kit, or at least it looks stainless, right?
Mm.
Yeah, that one's kind of an interesting car. It's one of those things where, it's just kind of either you love it or you hate it, right? I thought it was pretty ambitious. I like the lighting. I think it was Skeptic Innovations that did the lighting. That was kind of cool, the front and rear lighting for that car. But anyway, he's got a channel. I watched a few of his videos, his new channel. I'm trying to remember the name of that YouTube channel that he presented all of those V8 swapped DeLoreans, right? The whole build process and stuff like that. I can't remember the name of it. Salvage, Savage to Salvage, or Salvage to Savage, something like that. But this is him. We'll take a look at his driving video here that he's got.
What's up, guys? This is my 1981 DeLorean, and we're going to go for a little ride and see what you're bidding on Bring a Trailer.
So I feel like he's gotten into the DeLorean restoration business a little bit. He was gonna do another.
How many has he sold so far? Do we know?
That I don't know. In some of his other videos, he was working on like a project DeLorean, doing some customizations and upgrades.
This is a one owner 1981 DeLorean. As you can see, it's an automatic. I bought it from the original owner in Miami. It was the guy's pride and joy. It was garage kept its entire life, but it was sitting for about 6 years. So we went ahead and went through the entire fuel system. I replaced all the mechanical fuel injection lines, rebuilt the fuel injection manifold, did the spark plugs, wires, cap, rotor, did the fuel injector hold downs for the fuel system, and we also dropped the tank, cleaned it out, and redid the fuel pump, put a modern electric fuel pump in there. So this thing's running really nice now. We also did the brakes. The brakes were sticking, so we replaced all 4 calipers, all the pads, replaced all the brake lines, and we noticed that one of the tie rod ends was clunking, so we went ahead and replaced the entire steering rack. So it's nice and crisp now and sharp, and this thing drives like a Cadillac. We just recharged the AC, so it's blowing nice ice cold. It'll be a really nice daily driver for somebody, and with only 51,000 miles on it, it's like a brand new car. This thing's like barely even broken in. Now I heard, and I don't have the receipts, but I did hear from the previous owner that this car was fully restored at DMC Houston in the early 90s, and the stainless steel really shows the quality of the exterior of the car, and the interior is completely immaculate. It's tough to see it go, but this thing will be a great car for anyone's collection or for a future owner. So hope you guys enjoyed the drive, saw everything that works, everything is in proper working order, and happy bidding. We'll see you guys on the other side.
Okay, so thought he had another video here too. So we're sitting at 36,250, so it's gone up a little bit here as expected in the final moments of the auction. And let's see, where are those videos at here? Here we go. So he's got on a cold start video. Let's see what we got. So he's not getting burned there, so he's proving that it's a cold start, not a hot start. Fuel gauge seems to work. Be cool if we can just sit there and record the engine just kind of running. Kind of like to see that, but so you got 2 videos here to go off of, and a bunch of pictures. Some of them okay. He mentioned the AC's been recharged, so it's it's probably a good driving car. He said he had 51,000 miles on it, which is pretty good. Probably went through, so 52,000 miles on it.
It looks like they made a AC hose repair.
Okay.
Because if you look at the receiver dryer, the AC accumulator,
Yeah.
under the passenger wheel well, you can see there's like a newish hose, but then it looks like it's been like spliced on the old one. So that's interesting. Let's see if I can find that picture again.
Oh, I think I see. So that's probably photo like 116 roughly.
Probably sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. So with these earlier cars, the AC accumulator was a different design, and there was a port on the bottom of it.
Okay.
And so when you update, your existing hose is too short to connect to the new one. So it looks like what they did was they essentially like extended that hose so that it would fit the new style.
They crimped on another piece to it or something there. Yeah.
And I thought maybe they replaced the hoses altogether, but then in the engine compartment you can see that it's still the old fitting. So it's an interesting way to do it.
Well, as long as the AC system works, right? Yeah, so unknown as to whether or not the car got into an accident or not, because, you see the front frame extension here. It could have just been painted over so it looks better, maybe to hide some of the corrosion, potentially. Looks like the shroud is cracked here, the fan shroud. There's a big, I don't know if you see this notch here. I can't tell. It's kind of hazy in this area where the photo is. I don't know if they have a better photo of the shroud.
Is that at the end or in the middle of the pictures?
Well, it's photo number 113. It's kind of where the car's up on a lift, and it's the front of the vehicle. You're able to see the front frame extension, and I can't tell if there's a just big chunk missing from the shroud on the passenger side, or if that's like something else there. It's just kind of hazy in that area.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah, it looks like there's a big chunk missing.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. Again, the front frame extension obviously has been completely repainted, possibly replaced. I can't tell. Front steering rack has been completely replaced. The front, the hood itself is a flat hood. So, it kind of begs the question, was the car in an accident? I don't know. Right? Just one of those questions that you kind of wonder, right? You see all these things and you're like, well, and there's other explanations, but that's the first one that pops in my mind, especially when they don't give an explanation as to why, right? Oh, the original owner decided to sell his gas flap hood to make a lot of money off of it because he needed it, I'd been like, okay, cool, there you go, right? But there's kind of no explanation as to that, so you kind of have to wonder a little bit. I'm very pessimistic when it comes to these things. I'm very suspicious. Hey, why is that the way it is? So that's just me, though, right? Those are the things I look for. I question it, and for me, it's always worst case scenario. Oh, maybe it was in a wreck, because there's no explanation, right?
Yeah. It's hard to know on these cars. They're 40 years old.
Exactly. I mean, it sat for 6 years. So it was driven, I guess, for the other 34 years potentially, but we don't know. And it sounds like he's the second owner. There's no documentation, so we don't know what's going on there. We know
All he says is that it was at Houston for a little while.
Right
Several years ago.
In the 90s or something.
Mm-hmm.
So full restoration there, which, well, at that point in time, you know, why did it need a full restoration, right? I mean, that was only 10 years in, potentially, right, a little after 10 years. But, you know, who knows, right?
Randomly, I came across the door headliner, and it looks like it's like a vinyl wrap instead of the regular headliner material. Did you notice that?
Oh, I did not notice that. Let's check that out. Okay. Oh, yeah, check that out. Okay. And it kind of matches, I guess, the leather interior, right?
Mm-hmm. But the roof section isn't like that.
Oh, the middle section, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. You know, one of those little modifications that people do over time.
Right.
Interesting.
But overall, most of the interior looks nice.
Yeah, it doesn't look that bad at all. Black interior, automatic. Are those the dark wheels on this thing? Those aren't the dark wheels, right? Those are kind of light wheels. Yeah.
I think it shouldn't have the dark wheels.
I would think it should, right? Those look like the lighter colored wheels. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's not a super early VIN. It's a 18 whatever it was, 1800. So don't know. And honestly, I don't know if, you know, they all came with dark or not. You know, at what point did they start going with the lighter colored wheels?
Right.
Yeah.
Has new tires. Has the Hancooks
Yep.
on.
Yeah, I saw that. The Kinergies.
I was looking at the bid history, and one of the first bids was $100,000 or something. So something happened with that.
Yeah, I saw that. Apparently, the bidder entered the wrong amount, and Bring a Trailer went in and fixed it. Yeah, maybe they meant 10,000. They put an extra zero or something because that was like really early on. Yeah, I saw that. Right around here. So he probably wanted to put 11,055 and put 11,0555 instead. Yeah.
The comment section isn't as active as it usually is.
Right. Don't know what's going on here. It's only sitting at 36.5. That's a pretty good price. I'd be tempted to bid on it myself. You know, I'm looking for an automatic right now.
Right.
So
you pick it up for that cheap.
Yeah, I would. That's not a bad price at all. Although I doubt it will sit there at that price. Now I think I'm trying to remember. I think it's salvage to savage is the channel. Let's see if I'm right about that one or not. Yeah, salvage to savage, something like that. Yep, that's the channel. So he is this guy. Let's see if I can find the car. It was a SEMA, I guess, last year. They got a lot of videos. It's definitely more than... There it is. This guy. This is the car that this guy built. So this is that. If you guys remember, there he is. So that's the video. Tim Mosseri. This is the guy selling this car. And so he's not unfamiliar with DeLoreans, right? So if he's, done stuff to the car, which he says he has done, right? A bunch of, upgrades, needed upgrades, the fuel system, etc., then he probably knows what he's doing. So I feel comfortable from that perspective. He's obviously really did a lot of work on this DeLorean here. Let's see. You guys, I don't know if you guys followed this one here. This is the one that went to SEMA. I don't know if they ever got this car up and running. I mean, I feel like, and I didn't watch like all of these videos, but if you look at that, they had issues with the turbos and the LS swap and all of that. And I don't know that they ever got it up and running. I just thought it was kind of a interesting setup with everything so low to the ground in the back, but that's what happens when you're trying to stuff a bunch of stuff in the back that really wasn't intended to be there from the get-go. It's got the twin turbos, and they're very exposed down there. The exhaust, which looks kind of interesting. So this is that guy.
Do we know where it went? Where it ended up? Does he still have this car?
I think he sold it. That's what I remember him saying, and somewhere else or somebody else said it just sold, and because they haven't done any videos on it in kind of a long time, right? So we're at 36.5. We got 21 minutes left on this auction here. We're just talking about the seller, Tim Mosseri. He's the seller of this car that's currently live on Bring a Trailer, and he is the guy who did that wide body LS swap twin turbo DeLorean that went to SEMA a couple years ago, I guess, maybe last year. I honestly don't remember if it was 2021 or 2022. It was probably last year. And a bunch of lighting upgrades and bunch of stuff. So total like exhibition car. So you've got a few videos here on it that you can check out. And here he is taking it to SEMA, along with another truck that they customized. So it was at SEMA. I don't know if it was a driving vehicle at that point. I think it wasn't able to be driven still. They were still kind of working on it. So they were kind of rolling it around. It wasn't actually, because there's no driving videos. Like, I've never seen a driving video of that car before. So, so there's that video, and then you can kind of, I guess they have like a build video too, where they show what the car looked like when it started off, and this is what they did, right? So it looked like it might have been a painted car at one point, and then they just kind of, went through the whole thing. Yeah, so this is the guy who's selling this DeLorean right now. So if you want to check out his channel on that wide body, it's Salvage to Savage. That's the name of the channel. And here's that DeLorean there that they acquired, and that was the subject of their twin turbo wide body modification. So you're currently at 36.5. You got 19 minutes left. Somebody did point out that the hood is a flat hood and not a grooved gas flap hood as it should be. It's just one of those things. That doesn't look like the original Craig radio to me, does it? I mean, is that a Craig right there?
I was looking at that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's not an original radio. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It might have just been a swap out at some point.
Mm-hmm. Still has the dual knobs, but it doesn't have any branding on it.
Yeah, well, it's got a tape in there, so you can't tell. Usually the cassette door will have something on it. Right. Yeah. So there's a cassette in there. Oh, look at that. He's got that looks like a kill switch for the battery. I don't know. What do you think? It's probably what it is.
Let's see. What?
This is photo 88.
Oh yeah, there it is. Yep.
Battery kill switch.
They drill a hole through the cover to make it easier, I guess.
Right. Oh, the interior looks pretty good for a 51,000 mile car. Although that headliner's seen better days. I don't know if that's the lighting or if it's just yellow.
Yeah, I see some staining on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the door sections with that vinyl, but they didn't touch the other center section.
They probably started to try to take it off, and they realized, hey, you know what? This ain't going to happen. Because that's not easy to do.
Yeah, it's involved.
Yeah, there is staining on it. I wonder if there's a roof leak or something. You can kind of tell there's some water stain. Big one here in the sort of the forward section of the headliner.
Mm-hmm.
So there might have been some water, and that's kind of a DeLorean thing. Water getting in there, door seals, not working right or whatever. Especially with these early VIN cars that went through a very expedited QA/QC just to get them out to the dealers. They unfortunately put them together really quick. So these are the ones that are notorious and really kind of, that whole DeLorean, the myth that the DeLorean is just an unreliable vehicle came from a lot of these early VIN cars that were rushed out the door, basically, from Belfast. Try to get them done as quickly as they could. They cut a lot of corners, just to finish them off. That's why they set up those QA/QC centers, so they can kind of finish or at least fix what the factory had done, right, or didn't do properly. And that's why you have a lot of, the whole stigma about the DeLorean being this unreliable car and having all these problems stems from a lot of that stuff. Now, unfortunately, they did rush the car, so it is what it is. If they hadn't have rushed it, maybe that stigma, that reputation of the car being unreliable wouldn't be a thing, Of course, things happened the way they happened, and here we are, right? 15 minutes left on this auction, $36,500. Really good price. I'm wondering if I should jump in. You thinking about jumping in?
Yeah, it's in Florida.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be kind of pricey to have it shipped, but it's. I don't think it was too much. I know Chris Hogard, so he had his second DeLorean shipped from Florida, from DMC Florida. It wasn't too bad. I'm pretty sure this is going to go north of 40, though. There's no way that this can sit here at 36.5.
I'm going to have the people jump in at the last second.
Yeah. And you have a few bidders here. J-Lock, Dr. J, LVT. So I was looking at this LVT guy here. He bid to 35. I think it was, yesterday or something like that. This guy's a collector for sure. He's been buying up cars left and right. Most recently, earlier this year, he picked up a Dodge Viper. He's also buying a lot of Thunderbirds as well. Like, he collects Thunderbirds, and you can kind of tell just based on his auction wins here. Got quite a few. Likes Fords, apparently.
Mustang.
It's got a GT. Ford Woody.
Oh yeah, all these early 2000 Thunderbirds.
He's got a couple DeLoreans already as well. So he won an 83 back last year and a half
I wonder
ago.
if this guy's a reseller.
Could be. Got one in 2021 as well. He paid 46 for that one 46. And 53 for the other one. Another GT. Another couple GTs.
He can't have 2 Ford GTs. This guy must be like...
He's got 4 Ford GTs.
4.
2 DeLoreans, a couple Vipers, you know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, some interesting Mustangs, even a pace car from '79. So he's bid on a bunch of other cars too. This car right here that we're looking at, this DeLorean, he's bid on some other GTs, it looks like, and other Thunderbirds and stuff like that. Firebird. He likes T-Birds, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And GTs. That's kind of his thing. DeLoreans, T-Birds, and GTs. It's an interesting combination. So he's bid on other DeLoreans as well. So if he wants this car, he's probably going to get it. But who knows? I mean, he's only bid up to 44 on some of these other ones, right?
Right.
But you're right. He could be a reseller, just getting cars and just, you know, selling them. Don't know. But we're still sitting at 36.5 and you got 11 minutes left. So this is going to get interesting. Alrighty. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Pop that out. I did see Alex Michael online. So we're able to meet up with Alex at DCS a couple months ago. That was pretty cool. Alrighty. So it looks like Greg is working on restoring VIN 948. That's a really early VIN right there. This car was probably used for demolition derby. The guy has a new video on the wide body that he is redoing it. Oh, so David Bublitz. Hey, David. So David's saying that that Tim Masseri is doing... maybe he reacquired the wide body, and that does actually sound familiar. Like he sold it and then reacquired it, potentially. So maybe he is redoing it. That's actually interesting. Let's see here. Auto Locker sounds like sounds like Chris is online too. Bid on it. Yeah, I know. I probably should. I probably should. I don't make it a practice to bid on cars that I'm doing a live stream on though. So and I wasn't really planning on it because, you know, usually I bring a trailer. They go for a lot more than I'm willing to pay. In all honesty, I wouldn't pay more than $40,000 for a DeLorean. That's just me. I see him going for ridiculous prices though, and that's kind of cool. But bring a trailer, that really is sort of, you know, you see sales more on the higher end of things than anywhere else. So we're up to 37,000 now. We got another bidder in here. And David is saying, did you spot a rattle can cap on the passenger vent? No, I did not. But that's, we probably should take a look at that. So Alex is saying it's a different radio. Looks like a cheap aftermarket from Walmart. Yeah, Alex.
He's a radio connoisseur for sure.
Yeah. So Alex is familiar with Walmart because that's where he wanted to go to pick up his food when we were staying in Chicago. So he would know. But yeah, it does look kind of cheap. Who knows, right? So anyway, what's your prediction on this, Chris? I mean, we only got 8 minutes left. We're at 37,000. We've got about I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4-ish serious bidders on this thing. Maybe 5.
I'm just surprised there hasn't been any more movement, really. I mean, 37 it just went up to, but I'd be shocked if it didn't go over 45.
So Quinn is saying that his has the same style kill switch. I wonder if that battery kill switch was sort of a thing back in maybe the 90s, right? I don't know. Any thoughts on that, Chris?
I think the ones that we had, those big beefy ones, were popular back then.
Okay.
This is like standard auto parts store.
Oh, okay.
One that you can get, and I don't think it's as good.
Your standard AutoZone deal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex is saying, yeah, why drill a hole through the carpet? That's a terrible idea. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It just makes it more convenient. I know Don Steger had one. His was a push button, if I remember correctly. And his was through the carpet as well. It just makes it more convenient. Obviously, you still have to lift up that section of carpet to open up the battery door, but I guess if you just have the kill switch on the outside, you're not opening up that battery that battery access panel as much like I do. I'm religious when it comes to killing my battery.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's advisable, right? Because there's usually some sort of draw on the car, and I've replaced most of the ground system on mine. I know you've done a bunch of electrical upgrades too, but you never know, right? And I don't drive my car every single day, etc., etc., right? So it's just one of those things. So 37250 by J-Lock.
Another early VIN thing is that where the battery door is, the carpet isn't cut out. There's not that flap like we have on our cars. Yeah, so it's a solid piece.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's really more cumbersome to lift it up as well.
So I think this is what Dave Bublitz was talking about in the vent right there.
Oh, yeah,
I blocked it off. Yeah.
It looks like your, a Rust-Oleum special going on.
Yeah. They really shoved it in there. They broke it right here. You can tell. It's interesting. Well, I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but especially if they went through the AC system, it should work pretty good now. You wouldn't have to worry about things like that. I think mine works fine, but whatever. Let's take a look at the photos here real fast so we can see what we're talking about. Where are those photos at? I want to see that carpet section you were talking about. That might be where the interior photos were. Right about here, maybe. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. It's kind of molded around that, where the battery door is. Interesting. Okay, it's one of those fixes that they identified, early on that folks needed to get to their batteries, right? Because of the drain issues, Yeah, I didn't notice that. Good eye. All right, so we're at 38,000 now. We got less than 5 minutes to go. So you guys in the chat, we got Alex Michael. I should buy it. I should bid on it. It's starting to head a little bit more than what I would be willing to pay. And maybe I'll never get an automatic because of that, but who knows. Mine's going to have to be bought incognito or something, like nobody knows about it, right? Like I was the only one who knew about it. Right? Like, hey, I got a DeLorean. It wasn't even listed. It was word of mouth. Somebody had one, and I just kind of made a deal, under the table with someone. They weren't really sure about selling it, that kind of thing. We know a few guys recently who have done that. Got some pretty good deals, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way to do it. I wouldn't say that's how I did it with mine, but it's kind of like that, right? When I got mine, it was actually listed on eBay, and I just intercepted the sale, right? So I didn't bid on it. I contacted the seller and went down in person because it wasn't set to end for a few days. It was local, yeah. So I made an offer and they pulled the listing down and was able to pick it up for less than 30, and that was 5 years ago, right? So you can still get those deals. It's not as easy. Some folks, especially the older sellers, the original owners, they're not as like gung-ho about listing it and stuff like that, especially for auction. They rather just do a quick sale, try to get a bunch, as much as they can. They're probably not worried about getting top dollar for it. That's what I've kind of seen. But who knows, right? Who knows?
LVT is currently the high bidder.
So Chris Hogard is saying he wouldn't buy this one. So I don't know why he wouldn't buy this one, but I guess it depends on the price too. It's an early VIN 81 automatic. So who knows what this car has been gone through, right? I mean, he's gone through the fuel system, so the stuff that you would normally have issues with have been addressed, I think.
Yeah, the water pump's newer coolant houses.
Yeah,
all of that.
Right. And this guy Tim, he's a YouTuber, right? So he's not gonna put something out there that especially if you know who he is, he's not gonna put something out there and put his name on it and say, hey, this car's been gone through, right? And jeopardize his reputation, right? So I don't know, you got that stuff.
I can't tell if the radiator's original, but it kind of looks like an original radiator.
Original, yeah.
Yeah. Looks like there's a dent in the muffler, a little one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
What photo are you looking at?
132, it's toward the end.
Okay. Oh. I'm not seeing all the photos like you are, apparently. I don't know what's going on. Is it one of the photos where he's got the car lifted?
It's on the ground.
Oh, it's on the ground. Okay. So 38,250, less than a minute to go. That's a pretty good price if we settle on 38,250 for sure.
Someone should buy it locally to us.
Yeah, for sure. Half a minute left. 38,250 with shipping and everything. 38.5.
Well, yeah, shipping's gone up. I mean, just think about how much Richard had to pay.
Yeah.
On that parts car he has.
Yeah, for sure.
Just from Washington or wherever.
Yeah, that was very expensive. Almost cost prohibitive, really. I mean, considering how much he paid for it, the shipping was almost a third of the price of the vehicle. So, yeah, but whatever, right? Definitely have to factor that in. I know there's some fees, and you probably have to pay taxes, whatever it is, right? So when it's all said and done, so we're at 38.5, less than a minute left to go. Now we're at 39 now, so we're starting to see some bidding. And let's see who we got. So J-Lock, Central Coasting are kind of going, and you got LVT. So LVT's the guy that's really into Thunderbirds and GTs and DeLoreans. So looks like he wants the car, so he's here bidding right now. He's probably gonna wait and see what happens with these other guys and then maybe come in at the last minute. That's kind of my prediction. He hasn't bought a DeLorean or won a DeLorean here on Bring a Trailer in probably over a year and a half, and he's bid on a few and won a few. These other guys don't really know. I guess we can look at J-Lock. He looks like he's pretty. Oh, another one. So this guy's bid on quite a few as well. He's won a Ferrari, bunch of other cars here. So that's kind of interesting.
He's been on a DeLorean before.
Yeah. Yeah. Alrighty.
39.5.
39.5. So we are entering into 40K range. And I would have predicted it would go for north of 50. Mainly because it's a pretty, it's sorted. The car is it's a sorted car. And we're at 40 now. Dr. J. So, we've entered 40,000 range. And we've got, and that's really only up from 40,500. LVT is coming in. So he wants this car. 42,000 by J-Lock.
Here we go. Here's the bidding war.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys at least that are serious about this car. Central Coasting. He has not bid on anything else before. So he's might be just the guy who wants a DeLorean and that's it. And here's his chance, right? Dr. J. Let's take a look at Dr. J. He's bid on a bunch of stuff. Very interesting stuff here. Subaru Brats.
He hasn't won anything then, I guess.
Yeah, only bids. He's bid on a DeLorean, so it was a turbocharged 81 from 2020. And a few other ones here, too.
He must want a DeLorean.
He likes DeLoreans and Subaru Brats. Interesting taste.
Combination.
Well, they kind of look alike. They kind of have a similar look to them, right? They're supposed to that front end right there, right? So we're at 43,000. So if you look at these Subarus, they're somewhat reminiscent of a DeLorean in the front end. It's like a DeLorean with the pickup bed or El Camino kind of look to it, right? Mm-hmm. That'd be an interesting conversion. DeLorean, pickup, right?
I'm sure Rich will get up right on that.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. 44,000. So now it's getting more. Now it's getting serious. So we've looked at these bidders, and at least one of them it has no history here on Bring a Trailer. The others are familiar. 2 of them have won a bunch. 1 has not won anything, but has bid on a bunch of stuff. So we've got a variety of different bidders in this auction here. 44,000. P1 Motorcar said we have one going off soon. I guess that means they have one going up for auction soon.
40 a comment?
Yeah, in the chat on the live stream. 45,000. Yeah, I'm predicting somewhere in the 50s at least. With automatics, that sort of reduces how many bidders you're going to get because there's a lot of guys out there. They want that 5-speed manual, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that makes sense, right? Like I remember when I set out to get mine, I wasn't even thinking about getting an automatic. That wasn't even on the table, right? That was not on the table.
When I was 15 and wanted a DeLorean, I said, "Okay, there's an automatic. I can drive that." But
yeah.
Not after I wised up.
Right. Right. So I guess the question for you is, when you started looking around for one, And this is before, what, 2009 or something, when you were,
Mm-hmm.
like, would you have bought an automatic if the price was right and all of that?
At that point, I probably not.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we had the ability to be a lot choosier back then. Because
Yeah.
they weren't terribly expensive, right? 46,250 by J-Lock. Yeah, these cars weren't too expensive up until, just a few years ago, right? When everything just kind of shot up. 2020 really just kind of launched everything. Prices like doubled, at least, maybe tripled, right? And you still see, things have softened. We've seen that, right? That there's no doubt about it. 46,250, and about a minute left. And Alex Calixto, hey Alex, how's it going? He's online as well. He's saying that the automatic is more rare. Yes, they didn't make as many, I think, right, Chris?
Right. I think like a third of them.
Third of them,
Something
right?
like that.
Right. So then you got guys like me who we want a second car. And actually it's Anthony, so my son, who is also on DeLorean Tech. He does a lot of our YouTube shorts, and he's been doing a lot of filming for me as well, a lot of editing. He's just better at it than I am. Yeah, he wants his DeLorean too, so he's got his license now. He's 16, and he wants an automatic. Just to diversify what the cars. That way we can learn how to work on automatics now too, and we do more videos on automatics and stuff like that. So it just makes sense. And he doesn't care. He's fine with an automatic. He doesn't have his heart set on a manual. We're at 47,000 now, getting close to 50. So it's the same bidders, Central Coasting and J-Lock. So Chris Hogard, delivering the dream, is saying that now he wants to sell his for a manual. So he can't settle on what he wants. And I'm trying to remember his first car, which was that one he bought from West Coast Customs. I don't remember if that was an automatic or not. Was it? Do you remember?
I think it might have been.
Yeah. So he went automatic to 5-speed to another automatic, and now he's thinking maybe 5-speed again. So Alex just got back from a fun drive, running top. Yeah, can't wait for DeLorean weekend. I wish I could go to DeLorean weekend. I wanted to go. We might end up going next year. $40,000 in less than a minute to go. We got the countdown. Let's see what happens. That'd still be a good price. More than what I would pay, I think, for any DeLorean, really. But hey, if you want an automatic, which arguably they're more scarce than the manual version of the car, then this is not a bad example. Uh-oh, here we go, guys. 10 seconds left. 47,000. Central Coasting.
You got the other guys dropped off of bidding.
I think he's got it. 47,000. Not a bad price.
Sold.
Yep. Sold for 47,000. Not bad. Not bad at all. Not too low and not too high. That's about right, I think. For an automatic, maybe in the 50s for a manual transmission car. We've seen lower mile cars go for more. This is not what I would call a low mile car. I mean, relatively speaking, obviously 51,000 miles isn't really that much for a 40,000-year-old car.
It's not high mileage, but it's it's a good amount of miles for a car, and I'm assuming we saw it running and driving, and it's been looked after.
Right. So Alex is saying that won't hit reserve, and I can't tell if these cars have a reserve or not. I mean, there's a way to tell.
No, it says sold.
Yeah. So it did not have a reserve, or maybe the reserve was met. You know,
Yeah.
it's a nice buy. I would agree with P1 here in the chat that it's definitely you know, a good sale for both parties, I think. Oh, and Alex is saying he had it posted for 70 privately.
Oh, no kidding.
Right. Probably didn't get any hits. But it's a, you know, good car. I mean, it drives, so hey, you can just, you know, take off in it once you get it, you know? It's not like you have to do a bunch of stuff to it like we've seen other cars go for here on Bring a Trailer, you know, over $50,000 and the car wasn't running right and got to pour more money into it, right?
Right.
You know, those driving videos definitely help. And so this car sold for 47,000. It's good price. I don't know what the condition was when he got the car, Tim.
Dr. J says, "Congrats, have fun. I drive one every day." So he was getting another one.
Oh, okay. Who's like me? He wants that second DeLorean. Yeah. So Central Coasting, he's the guy who, right? Yeah. He literally, this was it. He just wanted a DeLorean, and that was it. He got it for 47,000. Hopefully, he reaches out. I'm really curious to see, you know, how well the car runs and all that. Whoever he is. Yeah, I didn't see any comments from the other bidders here. Oh, Dr. J. Yeah, he was the one who said he has one already. Just trying to pick up his second car here. And then you have that guy, Merck.
Oh yeah, he was saying something. He didn't say anything about replacing fuel lines.
Yeah.
Too soon.
Yeah. Long-time admirer, first-time buyer. Okay, well, congrats to him. Very cool. I guess would have liked to have seen a little bit more action at the end there, but it wasn't bad. It got kind of exciting, I guess. But in the end, 47,000, not bad at all. I remember, I want to say Chris Hogard might have picked his up, the delivering the dream car for kind of close to that, right? And that was in 2020, right? So
right before the boom.
Right before the boom, and that was a Florida car delivered from DMC, Florida. It was a 5-speed automatic, or a 5-speed manual rather. You know, had sorted, had a few issues with it here and there though that kind of popped up. I think maybe the accumulator or something, and there was a rear main seal issue that had to be addressed and things like that. But you know, just like all these cars, right? I mean, problems are going to develop over time, especially if they're not apparent right off the bat. Alrighty, well, time to wrap up another live stream. Chris, thanks again for joining us.
Yeah, this was fun.
Yeah, it was fun as always having you on board. And when you get a chance, check out DeLoreanTechnologies.com. Chris has got a part store on there, 88 miles DeLorean parts. So if you're looking for, you know, all sorts of different DeLorean parts that are not quite as easy to find on some of the other sites, go ahead and take a look at that. There's a lot of useful stuff on there, I think, that Chris has kind of put together over the years, right, Chris?
Yeah, thanks for the plug.
No problem. And Alex Clickstow, Alex Michael, and everybody else in the chat, thanks for joining us once again. Alex Clickstow is saying here he has a YouTube channel. Here's the guy that, yep, he's the twin turbo wide body SEMA guy. And I guess he's also going to be revisiting that car. Well, I guess we'll maybe take a look at what he's got going on there in the future. Anyway, guys, thanks again for another live stream, and hopefully there'll be another one soon. Take care, guys.